Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar session to reintroduce EDX Wireless Support and Training Department. My name is Latoya Smith, and I will be your host for today's webinar. Before we begin, please note that your microphones are automatically muted for today's session. If you'd like to ask a question, please do so by typing your question into the chat box provided, and we will try to answer a few during the Q&A segment of our session. We will also provide you with a summary of all submitted questions with responses via email, along with the link for the recording of today's session. As I am relatively new to EDX Wireless, I'll share a bit about myself. As mentioned previously, my name is Latoya Smith, and I am the new Director of Support and Training here at EDX Wireless. I have worked in areas of adult learning and customer support for over 20 years. And as I have navigated a career that began in the U.S. Coast Guard, I segued into the private sector, where I worked in a number of areas that ranged from medical systems to the petroleum industry. Recent experience led me to working within the U.S. government as both a contractor and a small business owner. As I have worked in a number of organizations with small business entities, all the way to major corporations, one thing has remained the same, and that is support and training. I understand the significance and impact of expert support for products and services while simultaneously providing a structured learning system for customers and end users, which is one of the reasons for today's webinar. Okay, I see a few more have joined us. For those of you who have just joined, welcome. Please note that your microphone is muted. So if you have any problems during today's session, please submit them by typing into the chat box accessible via the user menu, and one of the members of the team will be able to assist you. For questions, we will try to address them at the end of the presentation, but should time run out, we will be providing responses to all questions submitted via email, along with the link for today's recording. The goal of today's webinar session is to help relay how EDX Wireless seeks to leverage support and now training to provide you, our customers, with a new standard of service and accessibility to the information and training when and wherever you need it. So with that in mind, let's get started. So support is now supporting training. In today's session, we will review the reason for the shift from EDX support to supporting training, how this transition is going to affect the customers, and how that is being implemented. We will review 5 tips for how to get the most from the new EDX customer support portal. We'll go over the upcoming launches of new support and training services and features. And finally, we'll answer a few frequently asked questions about support and training that have actually already been submitted. We'll get into the how and the why of things. EDX wants to add value to our customers, for our customers, by engaging with the new commitment to understanding your RF planning needs and goals, to create value and deliver exceptional services through innovative solutions from our full service support and training team. So you may be asking right now, what does full service mean? The first is increased transparency. Building trust is extremely important for sustenance in any relationship. Trust is built through honesty and keeping promises. So this amounts to transparency for us. Establishing transparency in customer relations will help foster trust and new meaning for the business/customer relationship. As with all relationships, this takes time and consistency and a diligent effort. Customer needs focused. Customer satisfaction is and should be every company's responsibility, as without it, all other efforts and resources invested are completely wasted. To that end, we are now focused on providing support for all of your needs, not just troubleshooting, This is accomplished with a proactive rather than reactive approach, which means we are working towards meaningful engagement with you, the customer. Service culture and attitude. Here, engaged means customers are being actively listened to. To ensure this happens, we are implementing customer satisfaction queries and surveys to establish a baseline and target for past and future services. This also means that we are now being proactive in planning ahead and setting aside time to work with you in a scheduled web call. This web call will be uninterrupted and dedicated solely to helping to resolve your issue by both seeing and hearing what's going on. Process-driven. This all is about introducing new processes for support and training. In assessing the level of customer satisfaction with regard to service, experiences, quality, and value, EDX is working to continuously share information on the improvement measures we undertake. These measures include the implementation of a system to streamline our intake process for support and training requests, one that provides insight to the customer, a means of holding ourselves accountable, and provides consistency for all parties involved. Before we move on, let's address one of the questions submitted previously, and that was, can I still call support when I need help? While it was the previous process to take incoming calls to address customer support issues, the process had some inconsistencies. This meant that issues weren't always addressed immediately and often had to be relayed or rerouted to other team members, which often added significantly to our turnaround times for resolving your customers' requests. This system also wasn't trackable or sustainable. Today, you have a reference number associated with your request where you can instantly receive an update on the status of your request and submit questions, files, and comments via a system that is far more reliable and sustainable than email. So thank you for that question. It was a good one. And now let's review how this is all being implemented. When EDX decided to address new and emerging customer needs, we realized that a new strategy and restructuring would be necessary to focus on those needs. To accomplish this, we have reorganized the support and training department to accommodate the tiered structure of our customer support system, which funnels customer queries into more defined levels or tiers, ensuring customer needs are defined properly at the outset and governed by a set of service criteria for each tier. Such tiers provide the support and training team with a roadmap for when and how queries are escalated. The team is now comprised of support and training specialists at tier levels 1, 2, and 3. These changes, our processes, tools, and techniques are now being designed to achieve the EDX goal of creating value and delivering exceptional services through our support and training team. The customer support portal is a new way for EDX to be responsive to multiple customer support training requests, while also providing us with the bandwidth to develop new self-service options like job aids, video tutorials, and new training courses for you to utilize on demand. But first, we need to be sure you know how to get the most out of this new tool. One of the most important things to do or know is where to go. So I'm going to switch over screens and show you how you can readily access the support portal. One thing to note is EDX has updated the support tab in our website with the link to the customer support portal. Be sure to click this link and bookmark it for future use. Also note that our website is being redesigned to provide you with better access and information with an improved user interface. So once you come to the site and you click on support, you'll be brought to our support page. You can click on the URL for the EDX Wireless Support Center, which will then bring you into the portal itself. It's a good idea to visit the portal in advance to understand how to navigate the new customer portal and system. While you're there, you can sign up online, which will help you expedite creating and submitting your customer request tickets in the future. While you're there, it's going to be common practice to visit, complete, sign up online, and we are always here to help you get started. If it turns out that you're not really comfortable with the portal, please feel free to send us a request and say, please help walk me through my first ticket. We are more than happy to do that for you. We want to make sure that this is a help, not a hindrance to your request process. Tip number 2. Visiting the portal will also provide you with an opportunity to communicate with us on a regular basis. Let me show you how quickly you can get signed in to the portal. So here you'll notice that we do have the forms available, but in the top right corner we have the login screen. So click on that. And as I'm going to behave as a new user, rather than just entering my email address, I'm going to click here on Sign Up. Sign up, we would enter our email address. I'm just going to be John Doe for today. And then we select Send the link. That's it. You will receive a confirmation email in your inbox and with additional steps on how to get started and how to move forward with your request process. Simple as that. We are into the portal and you will start receiving notifications for the work or request that you have submitted. However, you might be asking now, so what does that mean? One of the things we identified was we wanted customers to be able to use the system even without being signed in, because in some cases, signing up can be time consuming. Even if you haven't signed up to use our new customer support system, you can still use the system, create a ticket, and submit it. The benefit of signing into their system in advance is that you will have access to a central location to submit tickets and track progress on each of your requests. I can show you what that looks like. Here, I'm signed in. As a user, in the top right corner, you'll have access to your profile as well as any new or past tickets that you have submitted. When I click on Requests, created by me, from this screen, you'll be able to search for previous requests, look at all of your open requests, those particularly created by you or any request type. The important thing to note here is the reason we have the requested by me, you or created by me, you and members of your organization can create a group account where all of the requests related to your organization can be accessible by all members of the organization that have signed into the system. So if you are a coworker, have had a similar problem, you'll be able to readily see that the problem is being addressed, what the status is, what type of request was made, who submitted it, along with the reference number for future reference, or if you'd like to open the ticket and view that yourself, you can. The system will group your users together. However, you may need to contact someone from support and training to set up an initial account. In some cases, customers have created a group email username and password so that all members of that particular organization use that sign-on to submit a request, which is perfectly fine. In others, they have created a user account organization umbrella, and then all of the individual users with their usernames and email addresses are categorized under that company name. So both options are available. Again, feel free to contact us if you would like guidance on how to create that. One of the things you'll need to do once you're coming into the portal to create a request is to identify the right ticket type. As training requests require a different approach, as well as very often additional time to relay a concept or process to the customer, we have separated this type of request from regular support, and we'll be asking specific questions to ensure both learning and performance objectives are being met. This is just the first step ensuring that any support and training services we provide in the future are relevant, resolve your issue, and that you have a future reference or resource for the services provided by EDX Support and Training. Note that we have training, and we're working to make sure the customer understand the difference between a training and a support request. Training is the type of request we want to be using when you need help in completing a project or study, not when you're having a bug or error, but maybe you need a little bit of assistance with understanding how to use a particular feature or functionality in the software. Support, on the other hand, is when you are actually having a bug, an issue, or error message within the software. Those are issues that will be preventing you from completing a project or study as a dysfunction of the system rather than know-how. And we will take a different approach in addressing those issues. We also have the category of sales inquiry. Even though we cannot address your sales inquiry directly, we can forward your inquiry to the sales department via our system and bring it to their attention. Also note that EDX wireless testing is for internal use only. We are using that to help expedite some of our internal processes, and testing is one of them. Submitting a request. One of the questions you definitely want to ask yourself is, did you provide detailed responses in your form? Please be sure to complete your request as accurately as possible. When forms include minimal information, it makes assessing the tier level very difficult, which can impact the time it takes to resolve your issue or question. If you should want to add additional information after your request is submitted, you may do so. You can come back to the customer support portal and edit any necessary fields in your request. Also note, sending messages or emails outside of the customer support system won't necessarily expedite your request. Using the internal system will expedite the process and allow us to respond much more quickly than the former email process. Emails, again, can be missed and are not currently integrated into our customer support system. Also note that sending emails to other staff members outside of support and training will again lead to delayed responses because support and training team will now be monitoring our queues within the system rather than inboxes for email. And I can't say a number of ways that using the system will save you time and ensure that we are notified of every question, concern, or comment that you need to bring to our attention. When you've created a ticket and submitted, you'll receive a confirmation email, a confirmation message, and then email. This message will appear on the screen. And let me just show you that since we're all here. And I'm going to cheat. Please do not repeat these steps. Again, this is all very non-conforming. This is the item you will see on the screen once you have submitted a ticket. Notice you have a reference of EDIT-XXX or number. This will show up in your inbox. It will also show up once you're signed in your request number so that you can see all of your reference tickets and therefore be able to contact us and refer to a specific number that you're working with. In some cases, customers will have multiple requests, and we want to make sure that we are addressing the proper one. The next item you will receive in your inbox will be an automated message. Some of you may have already seen this message as a response from our system or from submitting your request via email. We are transitioning into fully automating the process. But this message lets you know that your request has been seen by a member of our team and is currently in our queue. This message is especially helpful when requests are submitted earlier or after our operating hours, which are again from 9 to 5 Pacific Standard Time. We're moving toward automating our processes as we finalize our workflows. This will expedite our response times and help ensure you are automatically updated on all of the progress regarding your customer support request. So now let's get into what to expect down the road. Continuous improvement. If you have seen our emails and our newsletters from earlier this month, EDX Wireless is striving for continuous improvement, and support and training will be bringing these efforts directly to you. Each month, support and training will introduce new tools or services to help elevate customer self-service, or CSS, by providing you with how-to guides, micro-learning videos, troubleshooting tips, helpful articles, and much more. Here's what we have planned thus far for Q1 and Q2 in 2020. Introducing tiered SLAs. SLAs are service level agreements, and they define the level of service you should come to expect from support and training. We are working to define the metrics by which our service is measured. It is a critical component of any technology vendor, and we want to make sure we rise to the new expectations. Once our new workflows have been fully implemented, we will share our new SLAs with you. Customer self-service options, or CSS, is a type of electronic support that allows customers to use technology to access information and perform routine tasks without requiring the assistance of a live customer service representative. With that in mind, the support and training department is working to introduce new ways for our customers to gain access to resources that will allow them to more readily help themselves. This is particularly helpful when customers encounter issues or questions outside of our operating hours, weekends, federal holidays. We want to make sure that just because we are not readily available, you're not able to receive the support or training that you need. One of those new self-service items is the support and training calendar, which will offer EDX customers who have an active maintenance agreement to choose from a list of availabilities so that you can schedule your time rather than going back and forth with the emails of, does this time work for you? No, it doesn't. This would work better if we had a shared calendar, which definitely works, intra-agency or organization. However, when you're working with two separate entities, this will provide us with a common ground for scheduling time to work with you, whether it be a half hour or a full 60 minutes, to make sure you're getting the time you need. You already know in advance will be available. You will receive an invite to our Zoom web conferencing platform, where you will have the phone number, a link, and all of the information at your disposal. With Calendly, you'll be able to schedule time, reschedule times as necessary. This is not set in stone. So if something does come up, which it does happen in a regular work week, you can reach out to us and reschedule, and we will send you a link so that you can cancel and then reset a time to meet with us. In Q2, we are definitely going to be moving forward with our micro learning opportunities. Customers, just learners in general, often prefer several means of learning. Depending on the type of information, visual learners may gravitate towards video training. Others prefer technical documentation. We want to make sure that we are covering all of the bases with our customers to ensure that you're not painted into a corner with the type of support that you're receiving from us. Blended learning is definitely the way to introduce that. Now we're going to be getting into the Q&A segment of our session today. As we are low on time, I'm going to run through a number of the questions that have already been received. And I also, again, want to note that any questions that have come into the chat box today will be reviewed, and submitted with responses along with the link for today's recording. So on to the first question. Can I still get someone on the phone? We did address this earlier in the web session, but I wanted to point out our chosen method for handling calls is to schedule them so that we can set aside the time for each customer while also allowing time for support and training specialists to conduct research in advance to expedite and ensure the resolution of your request. These calls are being completed with Zoom services to allow both staff and customers to speak and screen share during these calls. In many cases, seeing a workflow or process steps helps to pinpoint the issue. And for training purposes, following along with a visual aid allows visual learners to more readily grasp the concept and helps with knowledge retention. Our next question is, can I call you directly for help? I am available to speak with customers regarding their support and training needs and concerns, but please email me ahead of time so that I can make sure we connect and you're not leaving a message. I know how frustrating leaving a message can be, and especially when you would rather speak with me directly. So if that is your preferred means, please just let me know what time you plan on calling. I will point out that I am not an RF engineer and would be a terrible troubleshooting resource. I am a support and training subject matter expert with 20 years of experience. My goal is to ensure both staff and customers receive the tools, training, and development necessary to achieve their goals, build understanding and proficiency in their roles. I'm here to also address any concerns or complaints you may have. As a side note, please be sure to respond to the new customer satisfaction surveys coming to you from us. We are aiming to establish the baseline, and we need your feedback in order to do so. Is this going to cost my company more? I will assume by this, we're referring to the new systems, processes, self-service options coming from support and training. The short answer is no. EDX wants to create value for our customers, not diminish it. These new services are being offered as a part of your existing maintenance agreement with us. New and customized requests, however, will be a separate matter, and you will definitely want to review all of that with your account managers should those questions come up. With that, I also want to note that our existing products like the 2-day workshop and on-site training will also be undergoing an improvement process to ensure customers receive the full spectrum of learning experience, proficiency, reinforcement, and knowledge retention. How do I make sure I get emails from your customer support portal? If you experience problems with messages from the customer support portal, please be sure to check your spam inbox and spam filters. If the problem persists, please check with your IT security team to ensure messages from our system are added to the company's permitted list. Our system is provided by Jira, and so automated emails may include the Atlassian email account. What I will do is, in addition to the Q&A and link for today's recording, I will add that actual reply or response email address so that if necessary, you can provide it to your IT department. Are you recording my meetings now? Why? Yes, we are recording our web conferencing through Zoom, which allows us to record calls with customers. One of the prime aspects of support and training business operations revolves around customer calls. And by not recording them, we are missing out on ways to improve efficiency of staff, enhance customer experience, and the quality of our services as a company. These recordings will help ensure transparency and consistency in our communications with you, as well as serve as a research and training aid for EDX employees as we troubleshoot issues with engineering and learn more about how our customers are using the software, thereby providing us with a means to improve products we develop. So I really hope that that has helped to establish, what we're doing, why we're doing it, and how that benefits you. But again, I am available to answer questions. Please feel free to email me. Feel free to use the support portal if you have any questions about existing issues or errors or bugs. My email address I will include with the follow-up of today's recording so that you may email me directly and we can schedule a time to speak. We have run over by 5 minutes, so I apologize for that. I do hope that today's session has been helpful, and maybe an introduction to how EDX Wireless is striving to provide you with newer, better, and improved services. Again, my name is Latoya Smith. If you would like to respond before our recording session is sent out, please email me at latoya.smith@edx.com. That is LAT as in Tom, OYA. Smith@edx.com. Thank you all for your time and your patience today. I do hope you have a good one, and thank you for attending.